Parents of bullies. When did you realize your child was a bully and how did you react? Not a bully, but I know I got one of my old bullies hard when, on suggestion from one of my cousins, to invite said bullies to my birthday party, 7 total. Only one showed, and proceeded to introduce the kid as the poophead who beats me up every day, even called him that in front of his mom. I know at some point the kid's mom had a discussion with my mom. I'll ask if she remembers how it went, and after about 20 minutes they up and left. Never had an issue with him afterwards. Several answers here are along the lines of one of the things that makes a bully is lack of attention. My parents loved me more than life itself. And yet I was still a bully in my elementary years. I couldn't tell you why exactly, other than just saying autism. Which is no excuse. My parents did not allow the teachers to use that as an excuse. And made sure I was appropriately punished. And I am so grateful for that. Anyway. Most autistic children have the one thing they obsess over. For me, it was Garfield the cat. Every phone call from the principal. One Garfield thing was taken away. And it broke my parents' hearts. But it worked. Edit. I consulted my mother to see if she had any insight as to the reason. Best guess is lack of regard for other people's feelings. Edit 2. Please stop recommending RM's origin to me. If I wanted to ruin my childhood, I'd already be subscribed to that subreddit. My sister was a bully. She bullied me and my brother and also kids in school. My parents ignored it. I think they were a little afraid of her. A bunch of friends and myself were sitting around one day talking about school and we got to the subject of being bullied. As I sat there listening, I realized that I didn't have a story to tell. This is when I also realized I was the bully. All I know is that my wife is a teacher. And when she tells parents about their kid being mean, or a bully, or anything bad, they just say poop like he doesn't do that at home. He's a good boy. You must be lying. Or the other kids are lying. The parents at her school are affluent and can do no wrong. Parents, please listen to your children's teachers. Edit. Wow. Thank you everyone. There have been some great discussions and shared experiences. I can't believe how many responses this comment got. Thank you all. You should know that one of the major forming factors for bullies can be parents paying no attention at all. So the replies you get may be limited by that. Not until he started 5th grade. He was super close to his grandpa, wife's dad, and when he died it destroyed him and his behavior changed. Few weeks after the funeral this kid's mom called my wife saying things my kid was saying and doing. Not the school, mind you. We had a parent-teacher conference days before she called. Teacher didn't say a word. We talked to him. Your first reaction is to protect your kid and not accept it. But we can tell by the way he was reacting to the discussion. We arranged a play date of sorts. We monitor it now. He talks to a therapist too. He's a good kid, just makes terrible decisions. As a father of 4 we've been on the other end of it as well, and usually if the kid's an ass so is one or both of the parents. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree at times. I am a parent but of only a 4-year-old. But I was a huge bully in high school and I'm such an idiot it never even dawned on me until I was like maybe 21-22. I did horrible stuff just for laughs. But I made it a priority to personally apologize to everyone formally and in person since then. It's one of my highest priorities as a father to ensure my son embraces everyone as a friend when he gets older. Bully? Try legitimate psychopath. Stepdaughter, it's an ongoing battle to keep all other children and animals safe. I hardly sleep and I don't sit down. I used to, verbally, bully a neighborhood kid. I think we were around 7 or 8 years old or so. She was deaf and therefore talked a bit weird. At one point we were being mean towards her and it got so bad she jumped on her bike to get away from us and she lost her balance and fell, chafing her chin and palms. She starts crying. and at the same time laughing, but also panic and remorse on our side ensued. Not long after I got home, her mother called mine and my mum was very upset and angry with me. She said she was taking me to the toy store and told me to bring my pocket money and buy this girl a gift as an apology. Also, I had personally go to her house, ring the bell, come in, gift her the present and say I'm sorry. That it was hurtful what I did and would never do it again. I remember feeling so bad. I cried harder than she did when she fell off her bike earlier that afternoon. I was so ashamed of myself and horrified that my mum was so mad at me. The girl asked me why I did this to her and I just could not answer the question. I just wept like a baby on my own mother's lap, mumbling I'm sorry between sobs. For sure my parents taught me a lesson. Not a parent yet, but I took a dip into bullying for a bit. For the most part, I was the one everyone picked on, for no real reason other than I behaved differently than pretty much everyone else. I was near the bottom of the totem pole, but they considered one lower than me. A rather plump kid by the name of Matt. I saw the other kids bullying him and making fun of him. I was feeling better that day and said something about him when his back was turned. The popular kids loved it. For a week or two, I continued seeking this praise. The praise of being an asshole. I don't remember the exact turning point, but one day I reflected upon myself. I thought, what am I doing? Eventually, I started seeking amends with him. He was very forgiving once I apologized, and we even became friends for the next few years. We ended up going to different high schools, but we even ran into each other when I went to a choir contest his school was hosting. We talked for hours. I'm glad I stopped when I did, because at the end of the day, an oversized belly is worlds better than an oversized ego any day. TLDR was a bully to a kid to win approval, but changed attitudes and became friends with him instead. Not a parent, but I lived next door to my younger sister's bully. We were constantly going over there to tell the mother, hey, your kid hit my sister today, or hey, your kid bit my sister, and the girls were about 9/10 so she knew better. The mother denied that her precious sperm pet could do anything like that. A few days later the mother and the kid were at school and I was dropping my sister off. The bully girl walked up to a random younger kid and sucker punched her in the face. About 20 other adults saw. Instead of disciplining her kid, she started yelling at the kid she punched, calling this poor 9-year-old a slut, a whore and a bitch, then raised her hand to hit her. But when another couple of parents started yelling at her and pushing her away, this grown-ass 35-year-old started crying her eyes out that people were calling her out on her bullpoop. It was a real eye-opener that the kids probably pick up their abusive behavior from somewhere. As it turns out, the mother was a complete psycho and regularly lost and gained custody of her kids because of her behavior. She goes through boyfriends like they are going out of fashion, hit one of them around the head with a rolling pin and cause poop wherever they go. The definition of a Karen. And upon knowing who the mother's parents are, it's a family thing for sure. My parents thought I was a bully. I bit a kid in preschool cause he had a huge brown freckle on his arm. I'm talking 1.5 inch, 38mm, diameter large. Parents took me to the kid's house to apologize and help the other parents know why I did it. Literally told them I thought it was a brownie and I literally thought it was. So I wasn't truly a bully but more of a complete moron, but for a few days 2 sets of parents believed I was the Antichrist at 4 years old. I was acquainted with a bully early on in elementary school. The way too aggressive type. I remember my other friends and I incidentally had similar stories of the bully trying to drown us in the local pool. He would punch kids all the time for no reason, and was extremely defensive and mentally weak even for an 8-year-old. Despite it all, his parents were very nice, but spoiled him a fair amount. One day, on the first day of school that year, he was gone and nobody knew what happened. We assumed he moved away until 6 years later. My friends and I were all playing soccer at the park across from the bully's house when suddenly we all spotted the bully atop his backyard play structure, fighting a younger man with a toy lightsaber. We all then came to the consensus that he had been sheltered for the past 6 years and most likely never left the house. Which I guess is one way to deal with a bully. Not a parent, nor a sister, but we take care of our girl relative as often as we can. She has her own family. We're just close. She's 8 now and started bullying when she started school because she thinks she's dominant. Underlying reasons are mainly rooted in the household and environment, how she's being treated, mostly by adults, how people react to her actions, how she's being reprimanded, methods, and how often she's disciplined, who she's surrounded by, etc. Still hard to fix right now. But best method, keep calm and explain to the child. Cause effect, consequences, the feelings and situation of the victim, etc. Remember that you're dealing with a kid. Don't just scold them and expect them to see at your level of maturity and understanding. Explain. Talk it out. Their stubbornness will get in the way. But stay firm and ease your way into their trust and comfort. Child psychology. Learn it. She's not intentionally bad. Just that her jokes come off as sarcasm at such a young age. To the point of insult sometimes. We found out from her teachers and classmates. Problem: her household doesn't see this as an issue to address and actually celebrates her cleverness. But even when they do, their way of discipline obviously apparently doesn't work. My kid is fairly popular. More than I ever was. And I'm ashamed to admit I was conflicted when I learned from their school that they're part of a clique that bullies others. My first thought should have been disappointment. But instead it was I'm glad he doesn't have to put up with bullying like I had to as a kid. It was an instinctual response that borders on tribalism. I'd rather have my kid be a popular bully than be an unpopular victim. But afterwards I approached it logically and sat him down. Shared with him my experiences during school and how bullies nearly ruined my childhood. My kid respects me and hasn't seen me that vulnerable before. So it ended up making an impact. I'm sure though as long as he sticks with that same social circle he will still be in situations where he lucks the other way on bullying. I can only continue to try and guide him to the best of my ability. I was the victim until I paid older kids and snacks to beat up the people bullying me. I made sure they knew I had caused their injuries. You see, the snack transaction was a one-time thing, but the bullies thought the older kids that beat them up were my mates. And I kept that lie alive. Less than £3 to take out a hit on my tormentors. My dad thought I was a bully once because another parent called our house and told him. This was in the time when there were school directories they gave out. Her kid thought I knocked over a tray of food he was holding while waiting for the bus. When in reality there was some roughhousing going on behind us. I got knocked into the kid, causing him to drop the tray. I tried to help him pick it up and explain, but he was inconsolable and didn't really get it. Later that afternoon I got the beating of a lifetime and had to make the kid 2 trays of the food that was knocked over. We went and gave the food and apologized, but Ole Pops didn't find my apology satisfactory, so we repeated the process of the beatdown and food making. I distinctly remember the look of pity in the mom's eye and her regret for making that call as I lied to her about how sorry I was about something I didn't do. Anyway, it's likely nobody will read this since I'm late to the party, but that was one of the events that really strained my father and his relationship. I know it's something he'll regret till the day he dies. He's even said as much. It was just one thing in the heap for us now. Had to move away and let the subconscious process it for a few years before I went back and sorted it all out with my family. We're all good now, but as they say, there's no making up for lost time. Many parents of bullies would not answer. Many support it because they think their children and family are simply better than everyone else. And they teach their kids to think that too. I was a bully in middle school and high school and was bullied as well. I never saw myself as a bully because I was constantly picked on and made fun of and didn't realize how many people's feelings I was hurting. It honestly took a trip to the office freshman year for me to come face to face with the fact that I was making other people feel bad about themselves. My mom sat me down and reminded me of my insecurities and how I used to come home and cry. She told me if I wanted to make other people hate me like I hated my bullies, then I should keep on doing what I'm doing. She also whooped me. I made reparations and try to be better than I am. I have a tough mom. A lot of responses here are relying on the trope that bullies are that way because they have low self-esteem, have been bullied themselves, etc. And while I'm in no way discounting people's lived experiences, research debunks this pretty thoroughly. Most bullies aren't sad. They don't have low self-esteem. And they aren't victims. They have very high self-esteem, feel powerful, and use that power against others. Bullies bully because it's easy. They like it. And it works.
Hi there. Look, if you enjoyed the video, well, why not go ahead and hit that like and subscribe to Reddit Stories. In fact, if you want to see even more responses to this thread, well then, take a look. There's the link in the description below. And remember, show some love to those authors while you're there. And I look forward to seeing you next time.